right, man. Let's talk. Shout out to Coach Malachi, man, or I never would have seen that interview. Excuse me. Shit. Um, so shout out to Coach Malachi, man. I was watching the interview. He just did on it's even Espinoza did on the Boxer Voice, and basically he answered some questions that I think a lot of y'all had about the PBC Prime deal. Said he still ain't got no yob. All right, man. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. He still ain't got no yob, y'all. So said he just helping and just assisting in the transition. Um, and basically what he said was Showtime was putting up the money for the fights, and now, they was doing the production and all that, and basically they was throwing money away. Money showers. Ooh, yeah. So they was throwing money away, and now PBC is responsible for the bread. PBC is responsible for their own production, and Amazon is just like YouTube. It's just the platform that's carrying it. If you do a live or you got editing software, video software, you got to find your own, your own editor, video software. You got to find your own live software. I mean, they provide a very basic one, but yeah, you see what I'm saying? So yeah. Um, so for the most part, he basically said that they putting up their own money. They putting up their own money. So it's coming out of Al Heyman pocket, which, like me and guys like Rick Glazer, Coach Malachi, that's what we had heard. Now he also said that they are talking to, regular TV channels and other platforms, and they want to, and they, something could be announced at some point. He didn't want to put a timeline on it about giving them an additional more dates to expand their roster. But in my opinion, their roster is ass. It's a has-been roster. And that's just the real. That roster is trash. They don't have no internal fights that you really dying to see. That they're gonna pay to see. You're gonna pay to see. It's a wrap. Once you think about it, what's the best fight they can make? It's either with Crawford, Canelo, David Benavidez. And Tank ain't fighting nobody, so ain't no point even saying that. They don't even have no good. They not even doing no good internal. They not doing no good, and it got even no good internal fights for Tank. People say, "Oh, Frank Martin," and nah, might want to pay to see that shit. Let's keep it real. So but nonetheless, man, nonetheless, bro, I just think that they got to be working on other deals. But if Amazon Prime barely committed, that's something. Now he also went on to say Apple kind of runs that way, and it started to be the trend. That Thursday night football on Prime, NBC does the production, and Prime is just carrying it. So he's saying they kind of going with that, and they're basically making the sports. He said MLS is like that, where the league is doing the production, and the platform is just carrying the production. So I mean, he named a couple examples. Like Thursday night football, he basically said that for the most part, it is, NBC that's carrying the production, and Amazon does the post game and I guess post game reaction or whatever like that. So I mean, hey, it is what it is. We just know with only 12 to 15 fight days, he said basically, he begged fans to support it so they can give us more fight dates. You know what I'm saying? That's what he said. He said support this so we can get more fight dates. On Amazon Prime going forward. So they got a half a foot in the door. You know what I'm saying? Not even a full foot in the door. They got they ain't really committed to this. And do I believe any other TV channel gonna commit to this? Absolutely not. Maybe if they get the same type of deal Prime get, where they don't have to put up none of the money. I think that's a very viable thing. If they ain't got to put the money up, then somebody probably do business with PBC again. If they ain't got to put that bread up, absolutely, and do some production. So Al Heyman is assuming all the costs. He said that Showtime was putting the money up for these fights and losing. I know Al Heyman had investors that's putting money up, but he probably taking investors' money and putting it back in his pocket. In my opinion, allegedly, this is what I think they was doing. They was taking the investors' money and probably buying the tickets up, shooting the ticket prices, and bringing them a return allegedly on the tickets. I think that's what they was doing. I know I heard behind the scenes for a fact that they was doubling up on pay. So that means they was taking investors' money, taking Showtime money, and they was doubling up on pay. That was a rumor going behind the scenes. So they was getting double pay. So what they was doing with the rest of that money? Everything you do usually come to light, man. And everything you do, it come back on you. So that money that he could have been pocketing and probably sliding the Espinoza under the table for paying for these bullshit fights. Now it's like, now he got to go back in his pocket and get that bread. Now he got to get that bread. That's the problem. Now he got to go get that bread. So, now you got to get that bread right back and find ways to pay these dudes. So a lot of these dudes got minimums in their contracts. A lot of these dudes I said again, a lot of these dudes got minimums in their contracts. So that's something to chew on for a minute. So what else did he speak on? He kind of spoke on Canelo, same ass shit with Tank, and he said nothing is etched in stone yet, and Benavidez ain't ducking Canelo, and Canelo ain't ducking Benavidez. So, like I said, nothing really important, bro, at that point. But yeah, he said he's still unemployed. He helping him with the transition and all that. He has an unofficial role. He said many others is helping with the transition as well too. And now basically Al on his own. And rightfully so, man, because he wasted a lot of dudes' money. He wasted a lot of people's money in these situations. He wasted a lot of these guys' money, man. And at the end of the day, I just feel that the product still ain't good. You think any network really is dying to work with them? Absolutely, because guess what? If they putting up the cost, guess what? I'll work with you. If you're gonna pay for you can bring your own production, bring your own announcement crew, and all I gotta do is just broadcast it. That's a good deal. I ain't gotta put no money up. And then, like I said before, you would think that they tried to come with some heat on this first card to tell Amazon that they not bullshitting. But it was told to me that Tim Tszyu team turned down the fight, and maybe because they was training for Lubin for 7 weeks. But then people would say, well, you went from training for a southpaw to a orthodox fighter and fighting Keith Thurman because they know Keith Thurman been out the ring for a long time. If Keith Thurman was a real threat, they wouldn't have pivoted from Errol Spence, Erickson Lubin to Keith Thurman. They wouldn't have made that transition. So at the end of the day, he got up there and called other fighters pussies, and he turned down Terrence Crawford. Now, is that a tough fight, first title defense? Absolutely. Is it at least you would have been defending your title, but also is it disrespectful to ask the champion to switch to a caliber bud when he's been training for 7 weeks for Lubin? Yeah, I agree with that. So I think I think that's fair. But if you're a throwback fighter, you're gonna get in there and thumble and rumble with whoever. So it was told to me that he turned it down. Now he might have had financial reasons, he might have reasons as far as fight dates and all that stuff to turn it down. I mean, that's up to them to for them to unveil. But I don't think it was fair, in my opinion, to change out Lubin and go to Terrence Crawford. Even though Lubin was a southpaw, Crawford could play fight southpaw and all that as well too. But nonetheless, but yeah, PBC on the roads, man, and they don't have nothing. If Tank Davis was the biggest star that Espinoza was explaining, in an ES News interview, he was explaining how Espinoza was explaining how Tank is this big star and crossover to pop culture. Then why Showtime still ain't fucking with y'all? If he this big of a star, y'all had 2 big stars in Canelo and Tank. Then it didn't keep you. Then he got to talking about he got to talking about oh man, it was just on the tip of my tongue. You know, he got to talking about how fighter, how guys would call over, in an ES News interview, how guys would call over and ask to fight a fighter at PBC, and then they say no, and they say go to the internet and say this guy ducked them. And my thing is, them dudes don't want to fight nobody, bro. If you thinking that they about to change their stripes, you out your mind. You out your mind if you think some of these platforms, these about to change. They would change their stripes because of the platform. They on their own dime. They let Tim Tszyu, fight, Keith Thurman instead of starting off with the splash and making him fight Terrence Crawford. And as an advisor manager, he can't make you do shit though. That is true. So he can't make you do nothing. But in my humble opinion, man, I just feel that that ain't nothing gonna change. This first card shows it, and they ain't gonna be on Prime long, bro. They just don't simply have nothing. And then you had, people saying that nobody gonna watch your card, and at 3:00 and 5:00, what happened? What you think Tom Tank gonna be fighting if he fight in the UK? He fight Conor Benn. Like I said before, it's they it won't be long, till they out of here. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop video. Financially, you want to support the channel, Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the whole nine. Appreciate the love, support. Let me know what you girls and guys think in the comment section. Peace.